I didn't use a rod.
You caught the fish without a rod?
It was more one-on-one. Mono fisho.
You wrestled a fish?
And I won.
Well, as much as it pains me to say it, you're the cover story in the next edition of the Juniper Parish Gazette. And this is why I'm not getting a Pulitzer.
I've got to hand it to you, Mac. That fish is a whopper. I don't know how you got it, but as long as it keeps Squid quiet at the porch party tomorrow, I ain't complaining.
I decided to leave Ned to his fishing. I'd had enough of carrying these suspiciously heavy fish around. I decided to leave it there. I had more important things to do than fish.
Murphy! Have you seen the cover of the evening edition? I think we caught your personality perfectly in that photograph. Naive, simple, unsophisticated. Makes it all the more surprising that you actually accomplished something.
I wonder if I should have it framed.
That'll cost you.
Evelyn seemed busy, and I didn't have anything else to ask her.
Hey, those cost money, you know.
But it has my photograph on it.
The Do Not Serve board down at Spinelli's bar has my photograph on it, but that doesn't mean I can just pick it up and walk out with it, does it?
I'd like to buy a newspaper.
Finally, I get something out of you loitering in here. That'll be 1 cent, please.
I picked up the newspaper. The fewer people that saw it, the better. The headline read, "Island Newcomer Breaks Fishing Record," with my photograph printed in black and white. The headline read, "Island Newcomer Breaks Fishing Record." I didn't think the maitre d' would be terribly impressed by my appearance in the newspaper. That didn't work.
Welcome back!
Look! I broke the island's fishing record.
Well done, my boy. Was there any prize money?
No, I just had my photograph taken.
What a shame. You might have been able to buy something if there had been.
Could you polish my brooch again?
Hand her over.
I didn't need to look at that more closely. I needed to think.
Here you go.
Thank you. The neck of the bottle was far too narrow for the pudgy little goldfish to swim through. I didn't need to cut that. Nope. That wasn't going to work. The poster read, "Free polishing on all purchases. Gemstones bought." I thought I'd keep that to myself. I didn't want to blow up the stove. I needed to think of something else. That didn't work. I couldn't do that. I didn't think he'd be interested in that. Nope. I didn't need to cut that. I didn't need to cut that. The gentleman inside the coffin was long past needing air holes. A rusty tin can sat on the ground. Its label read, "Bloom's Canned Beef, family-sized." Appetizing. I didn't need to cut that. I thought I'd leave Edgar alone for now. An antique stove burned quietly in the corner of the tumble-down shack. That didn't work. That wasn't going to work. That didn't work. I needed to think of something else. I couldn't do that. Nope. Nope. I couldn't do that. I needed to think of something else. The beam looked to be driven by the water wheel outside. From the multitude of wires fanning out from the top, it was presumably hooked up to a generator. If I touched the grease with my bare hands, I'd be spending hours trying to wash it off. Nope. I needed to think of something else. That wasn't going to work. I needed to think of something else. The hatches were locked. From their shape, I deduced they were for storing lumber, and I wasn't in need of any 2x4s. The hatches were locked. From their shape, I deduced they were for storing lumber, and I wasn't in need of any 2x4s. I tried the door, but it was locked. I needed to think of something else. I needed to think of something else. That didn't work. The electrical safety of the panel looked questionable. I wasn't going to touch it. Nope. Despite the age of the mill, the buzzsaw still looked sharp and scary. I didn't want to touch it. I hadn't seen something with that many scary-looking teeth since Old Lady Malloy's German Shepherd got loose on my 10th birthday. That didn't work. I didn't need to cut that. Nope. Despite its obvious age, the water... I couldn't get near it, and that was probably a good thing if I didn't want to get dragged under by the current. Nope. 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 That wasn't going to work. I couldn't do that. That wasn't going to work. Nope. I needed to think of something else. That wasn't going to work. That wasn't going to work. I needed to think of something else. That didn't work. I couldn't do that. That wasn't going to work. Nope. Carefully, I cut my photograph out of the newspaper. It was the photograph of myself I'd cut out of the newspaper. I wish I'd posed better. Nope. That wasn't going to work. I couldn't do that. Nope. I didn't think he'd be interested in that.